I'll take this one so that it's not terrible. The transition. I mean, we all remember when the U.S. was pulling the military out of the airport in Afghanistan, and then there was a few suicide bombings, and the U.S. retaliated with a drone strike on what they said at the time was a car carrying more uh, suicide bombers. Turns out the military admitted that they made an oopsie, which I say sarcastically. Um, they just killed the car that a man was packing with water to bring to his family that was starving, and in the process killed about 10 children. And they just didn't do their job thoroughly enough, is basically what they're admitting to.
So the report or the video that Shane sent over, it said that 6 drones was following this guy around for I think approximately like 8 hours or something like that. And at some point he stopped somewhere and they started loading a bunch of things into his car. And the thought was that they were bombs or explosives. And it turned out to just be the jugs of water because they had no running water. So he was bringing it home to his family.
They said he parked. It
Yeah,
said he
3
stopped
miles.
at a compound, but like
He was
Is it-
3 miles from the airport, so their thought was that from that point he can easily gun it
yeah.
through the airport, and
But was I'm not justifying any of it. I'm just curious as to. I'm assuming that compound had some type of significance that caused their concern. I mean, I don't know. I
it
didn't.
was the
more of the
location
detail.
and its
Yeah.
proximity to the airport.
Yeah.
I don't think it was necessarily like the space itself. It was just the proximity to the airport and how close they were, and if they did have explosives, that it was
Yeah.
something
I was-
that could happen in a matter of minutes.
I guess I was just more curious that they used the word compound as opposed to like anything else, you know.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I was like, why did they say it that way?
That's those flag words that they use.
Yeah.
Fancy words.
Like collateral damage instead of.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
fucking
also,
kill
so
children.
Instead of
the-
innocent people.
Yeah.
The driver itself actually was part of an aid organization
Yeah.
that helps people. So
Yeah.
good job, guys.
I mean, I think we all know it's appalling. I mean, my whole thing is that, if that was another government doing that to us, to Americans, it would be an act of war.
Oh, yeah.
It would be condemned by the UN.
Yep.
They would get economic and trade sanctions up the wazoo, and America's just like, our bad, and Biden's like, okay, moving on, and it just
No.
I'm not going to go into a rant, but it
No.
appalls me. It's just disgusting.
In a
we
world,
had this-
though, where we're operating this way, where we're thinking that there's ever a justified reason for a drone attack and all that, then this is bound to happen. There's just never going to be like 100% success rate. And like, what I'm confused about is like, why couldn't anyone just stop the car instead of just jumping to
we
that?
don't have
Jumping
any.
We don't have anybody on the ground.
Why would
Oh, okay. I thought this was
I mean-
before we had complete. Okay, gotcha.
It
Yeah, it
was
just seems
as
like
they were
tit for
moving them out.
Tat, doesn't it?
That's
at
true.
that
Yeah, it was
point,
as we were
you know?
moving them out. You're right. It was. So it's kind of in that gray area between
Yeah.
boots on the ground outside the airport and inside the airport only. It could be that maybe they just didn't want to send anyone out
Yeah.
to take the risk.
They just
But at that
lost like
point,
13 people. or
our
whatever.
partners in peace, the Taliban,
Oh.
and that just shows what horrible bedfellows we have right now, where we were working with them to maintain the peace outside. So clearly, we don't trust them, but we trust them enough to usher in people who have been working with us for 20 years, who are now being left to be executed. It's just it's so it's a clusterfuck.
Mhm.
And you're right. You're never gonna have 100% success rate. I mean, but
do your homework a little though? Damn it! It was water.
I think though, even if they took hours and hours following someone, if the suspicion is there, you're gonna find
Gonna
like
find things
evidence.
to
You're only
validate
gonna
it
find
rather
things.
than
You're right,
just-
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't understand why
You'd
it had
think
to
they'd
happen.
See that there's children in the
It-
car.
Exactly.
Though.
It
That's
didn't
where
have
I
to
get really
happen.
confused.
Because if it is still 3 miles or so away, or 3 kilometers, whatever that might be, it's a mile and a half to us, whatever the actual distance was, you can wait until you can minimize, for the use those catchwords, minimize collateral damage, and you can follow them with your remote control weapons till at least they're on the road somewhat removed from a place, a compound, a house that has children all around it, and they didn't do that.
Were there checkpoints or anything like that? Like,
Oh yeah.
like
They did. I mean, think about it. They watched him for a full 8 hours. So like, and they chose that moment of all times to.
Well, it's
Guess
also
they-
they said that they had hit a propane tank and they didn't realize it, so they thought that
Yes.
was confirmation of it. being
Yeah.
a bomb.
Yeah.
So then
they
after
said.
that blew up, they're just like going off the. It's the same thing from like when we were talking about police officers a lot when we first started this.
Mhm.
It's like they think they might be doing something really good and the intent is good, but there's no
the
way you
tension
have
is
a
right.
high enough success rate. If
Yeah.
you think that you should be blowing people up and stuff.
I wouldn't fault the person that's controlling the drone. I would fault the
Well,
person.
yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
the
know?
person
Right, yeah.
controlling the drone is only
Uh,
acting on behalf of his.
I never want to say that though. I'm just doing my job because in World War II, the enemy was just doing what they were told. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's he's going on their intelligence that they told them that believes that. But yeah, I mean,
I wonder how the individual who actually was flying the drone feels.
probably like shit.
I mean, do they ever get to
No.
find out?
Hopefully
Are they
Oh,
not.
ever
they know.
told?
They know that. They know what they what.
I mean, us six
mission
know.
they were on.
Mhm.
I mean, they know what they were targeting. I mean, the hierarchy
Yeah.
of the military is so that nothing breaks down in the chain of command, so that it is just a soldier doing
is
their
it
job.
is it just
and-
Yeah.
movie magic? But don't they got things like thermal stuff?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
it's like a
bomb?
video game, really,
Yeah.
with a
And what
controller.
Yeah,
about-
it really is.
It is.
So it was
It really
water.
is. Yeah. It's,
The sad part is it takes it by having it be a video game like that, or
It takes
mimicking
away
that.
the emotion.
yeah.
The humanity.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that makes it better for our soldiers,
Whoever it is.
when it's time for them to come home or not. But
They-
yeah, that also makes it easier to kill.
I don't want them to enlist gamers. They'll just want to kill everything.
I'm sorry, your microphone, Tater.
She said she doesn't want to enlist gamers; they'll just want to kill everything,
Oh. Well, maybe,
and they'll
I
be
don't know.
salty.
I always ask that question, and it's an impossible question for some people to answer. It's, who's more of a coward, the suicide bomber who takes themselves out because they believe in the cause, or the person 500 miles away using a drone, pressing a button because they're told to, and they're there because they need to get money for college? It's
I feel like the phrasing of the question is because I don't know if it's about cowardice at that point.
Yeah, I don't know.
fair,
if it's
fair, but
about being-
who's the bigger evil then? Maybe who
Right,
is,
okay.
Yeah,
who
they're
is
both
the-
just
Who's
doing
the
their
lesser
job.
of two
Well,
evils? Yeah.
It was
Who
the
they're
one that
both
makes
getting a
the,
standing
it's the
ovation
one
at a
that makes the
baseball
orders
game,
on either
you know.
side.
Well,
Yeah.
depends
It's-
on where the game is, right? No, I don't. I mean this country versus that country,
Yeah, I get you. I know you
right?
sound like a dig at my team,
No.
but no, it's war. War is
Yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah, it is.
What
Has
is
there
it
ever
good
been a
for?
moment where there
Absolutely
wasn't
nothing.
war?
Good God. Oh.
What's that? Tater?
Was there ever a moment where there wasn't war? Like shit was chill for a second.
The
before-
dinosaur era.
No, they were warring
Oh,
against
shit,
each
when
other.
That was
Yeah.
like
That's
that
just
was
They were
like-
all, they would literally walk up and just eat each other.
No,
Ah.
not
That's
the
just not like-
Brontosaurus.
They
Yeah.
The
didn't
Brontosaurus
have,
is like, fuck this shit.
culture.
I'm a giraffe.
I mean, not unless the T-Rex comes up and is like, bro,
T-Rex
like, I want
can't
to
draw
eat you.
cave paintings and stuff. Their arms are too short.
Yeah, they got big head and little
They didn't have
arms.
culture.
They're like,
They just were hungry.
you can't fault dinosaurs, but no,
But
I
it's
don't
I wonder
know.
why
not
they had
dangerous
short arms.
animals to destroy each other. That's why
I
this
know, I would-
continues to happen.
I would love to live in that time, get squished by like a brontosaurus or
The
some
fact-
shit.
I would
Always be
to
like,
see
where
I don't
that.
think
am
you
I?
I don't
Darius is like, nah.
Just go into a
I'm like, I
tank with
can't get on that with
alligators
you,
and
but you can.
crocodiles.
Imagine the
Like,
conversations they were having with each other. Like, yo,
Oh
he
my
just got
gosh.
stomped.
Or Bob.
All right, so
Like,
I want to go replay like a scene of Jurassic Park, and I would like Tati to narrate what the dinosaurs are saying to each other.
Hater's Big Bang. That's
Yep.
what I call it.
No.
'Cause that's what
Part of Tater's
Am I
takes.
banging?
dinosaurs.
Yep.
We're not there yet, Tater. No, the pressure's not on yet. Don't worry.
Little-
You're confusing the poor girl. No, don't do this, sir.